Chuckloaf back with the 1200 Films podcast. It has been a minute. I was working too much for too long, and then I was sick for a while and couldn't really speak well. Still can't speak very well, but the show is back. So I decided to do an old versus new. I watched 4 old movies from the 30s and 40s and 4 movies that came out this year. So I said, why not pair them up, have a competition. At the end of the show, I'll give you my opinion on which batch was best. Of course, this is a very small sample size. So if one of them won this time, they might not win the next several, but who knows? That's the joy of doing this show. You can do whatever you want. Of course, the rating scale on the bottom, dumpster fire, filth, garbage, then can't quite recommend, and then okay if desperate, and then put it on the watch list, and then put it on top of said watch list. 1, 2, 3, let's go. 1931 Frankenstein. I've never seen any of these movies listed. I never got big into the old monster movies. I've seen Nosferatu and the Lagoon creature movie, but I've never seen the old Frankenstein, Draculas, all those. So I decided to sit down and watch Frankenstein. IMDb has this, I say, 7.8. Of course, it has 100% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Although I'm guessing the critics back then were not very diverse. I'm sure there wasn't any females or anyone of minority status as a critic back then, but times have changed. So, for almost 90 years old, this movie's fine. Is it anything that'll blow you away? Is it anything spellbinding? Is it anything out of norm? No, it's just good, solid, swift filmmaking. There's no lulls. There's no long, boring spots. It flows. And most of these older movies are like an hour and 10 minutes, so they don't waste time. They get to it. But the Frankenstein character, the monster character, is mighty fascinating. I was begging for more of him because he was by far the more interesting thing in this film. But definitely worth checking out if you somehow haven't seen this film. Put it on the watch list. And then the sequel, 1935, Bride of Frankenstein, also got a 7.8 on IMDb. There really isn't much Bride. She pops up in the last 5 minutes, and that's it. It's really more Frankenstein Part 2. That's what this movie really is. I can see long before Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees were getting killed off at the end of movies, Frankenstein was doing this 50 years, if not longer, before all of those guys. Because he was dead. And now he's not. But there's a lot more of a character development with him. We see him in different situations, what I thought was interesting. Again, very solid, swift filmmaking. The guy that played the Doctor Frankenstein, this would be his last time playing that role because he would pass away before the next sequel. He was in his 30s. Apparently he was an alcoholic and overdid it and passed. It's too bad. But so yeah, put this one on the watch list. Fascinating. Just don't expect much Bride. 1939 Part 3, Son of Frankenstein. We got to talk about this movie. IMDb has it as a 7.1. So the son of Dr. Frankenstein and his wife and his little kid, they show up to inherit the fortune and the mansion and everything else that goes along with it. So you got this couple who's very hoity-toity English accents, and then they got their little 5-year-old kid with the deepest Louisiana Southern accent you've ever heard. Well, by God, G Mama, I just saw me a monster. That's how he talks. Yeah. So then I did some research on this little child. This kid's name is Donnie Dunnigan. He supplied the voice of Bambi. Yes, the Disney classic Bambi. He was Bambi. He did that a couple years after this. Yeah. Is still alive, almost 90 now, but still kicking. Earned 3 Purple Hearts in Vietnam. Yeah, good gosh. What had to keep it a secret that he was the voice of Bambi when he was in the army, because he did not want to be called Bambi. You probably heard what happened to the guy that wrote Winnie the Pooh. The guy that wrote Winnie the Pooh named his child Christopher Robin. So he could not hide and was tormented. So he probably didn't want to face that fate. But yes, mighty interesting. There's also a side character in this movie called Inspector Krog, who kind of steals the show. He's like the security of the area. It's hard to pinpoint his exact role, but he got into an altercation with Frankenstein the monster in the first movie and had his arm ripped off. So he is kind of like a prosthetic arm that you can kind of move to its placing if you use your other hand. So that's kind of what he does sometimes. It's mighty interesting. He pops up here and there, and yeah. And then we get Igor, the first true incarnation of Igor. Dr. Frankenstein had other assistants in the first 2 movies, but now Igor truly appears as the assistant. Igor is only alive in this movie because he survived a hanging. It broke his neck, but he's fine. Yes, these characters. These characters are amazing. This film blew me away. Again, from 1939, put it on the watch list. This needs to be seen at some point in your life. I waited this long. God. And then 1941, Wolfman, 7.2 on IMDb. Why did I watch Wolfman instead of the next Frankenstein? Because coming up is a Frankenstein versus Wolfman movie. And I needed to see the original Wolfman because the Wolfman versus Frankenstein is also a sequel to the Wolfman movie. So I kind of had to see this first before I saw that. If that makes any sense. Yeah, a lot of these characters kind of cross paths. Before there was Jason versus Freddy, there was Wolfman versus Frankenstein. Or I guess just Wolfman and Frankenstein. But anyway, the Wolfman movie was an hour and 10 minutes. It flew through in a breeze. It was painless and easy. Whoever played that old woman, that old gypsy, was amazing. The plot of this movie kind of slips in my mind at the moment. I know he turns into a wolf man and they start hunting him, but the rest, I watched this in October and I'm just not reviewing it. My apologies, but still, nice movie. Put it on the watch list. Why not? Now we get to our current day films from 2022. VHS 99. VHS 94 last year, if you watched the year in review show, was my #1 horror movie of the year. Sadly, this one will be nowhere in that vicinity at all. It's like every other VHS. It's an anthology movie. And there was one okay segment where they had to fight their way out of hell. Beyond that, this movie suffered. It was a drag. Because of the one okay part, I have to give it a can't quite recommend. But, yeah, what a disappointment. Jeez, what a step down. It's very sad. But I'll still watch the next one. I don't care. Next one. 2022. Halloween Ends. 5.0 on IMDb. I don't know if there's ever been a movie so divisive than Halloween Ends. Not giving away any spoilers, as I don't generally do that unless I give you lots of warning, but I'm not going to do that. They introduce a new character, and he's in there a lot, this Corey character. I think, armchair quarterback, it would have been fine if we had gotten like 5 minutes of Corey in the 2018 one, and then like 10 minutes of Corey in the Halloween Kills. So when it got to Halloween Ends, when we got half the movie of Corey, it would have been a little bit an easier punch to take. But no, they just said, here's a new character, and he's going to engulf the film. You'll still get the big showdown at the end, but until then, you got to suffer with this guy. As little Jeremy called him, the ugly male babysitter. But that being said, it's still a good movie. Put it on the watch list. But I understand the hate. I do. This next one, 2022, Nope. 6.9 on IMDb. I know it's uncool to hate anything from Jordan Peele, but this movie, goddamn. 45 minutes of nothing in the beginning. Nothing. The main character, OJ, the probably least charismatic on-screen main leading man that I can ever remember. Robin Williams as the Bicentennial Man, when he was a robot, had more charisma than this. After that, it kind of picks up a little bit, but then we're supposed to believe that that's the alien. Some parachute paper mache is floating around dumping garbage is the alien. This is like a really poor ripoff of War of the Worlds. You think about War of the Worlds for 20 seconds and then think about this film. It's the same, but Nope is just a small scale version. And sadly, nowhere near as effective. I still will watch, even M. Night Shyamalan had 10 duds after his great start. Jordan Peele is allowed a dud. And this, I think, was a dud, even though I'm scared that a lot of people are going to vote for it as the best thing of the year. And either they don't watch enough movies or they just give in, or are told what's good and say, oh yeah, it's good. Okay, on to the feature review of Terrifier 2.
What's up with you and this clown all of a sudden? You're like obsessed. They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here? I wouldn't worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Served.
What are you doing?
It wasn't me. He was covered in blood on his shirt and his hands when he got here.
I'm telling you, it was him, Ellie. Right down to the little black dot on the tip of his nose.
You're really weird, you know that?
Terrifier 2 from 2022. This got a 6.3 on IMDb. Holy Christ, this film is gory. First time through, I thought it was okay, but then I decided to watch it again. Second time through, I was able to appreciate it more as a horror film and not just a gore fest. It's kind of like when you watch Hostel for the first time. You're just... But yeah, this film, Jesus, this clown. Is this clown scarier than Pennywise? That's a good question. Pennywise at least kills you pretty quick. This one, Jesus. Even his quick kills are minutes long. And his long kills, gosh. He will slice you and dice you and make sure you're still breathing. The one kill of the girl on the bed, oh my God. That image will never leave my mind. He sliced so much off of her, and then she lifts her head and... Jeez. Oh, I'm saying too much. Yes. Excellent film. I heard it's doing very well. Did very well in the box office, so I'm guessing we're going to get another one. I'll be watching. I heard the director is now getting offers to do a lot more work. I'll be watching. So, yeah, definitely check this one out. Terrifier 2. It is in contention for Horror Movie of the Year. I'll probably do one more regular episode, and then I will do the big year-end review show. By the way, Terrifier put on top of the watch list. Check it out. But I still got a lot of big movies to check out before this, now in the end of the year. I still got to watch X. I still got to watch Pearl. Bloody Disgusting said to watch Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I was okay, I'll watch that. I still got to watch Smile. I still got to watch Significant Other. I still got to watch the Barbarian movie. And there's a few other I'm going to try to get to. Beast, I got to watch that. Werewolf by Night, I got to watch that. That's on Disney Plus. I need to get my Disney Plus going so I can watch the Willow series. So there's still plenty of time. Because everyone's been saying, what a great year for horror. One of the best years. And I'm thinking, really? Not so much. But I still got a good 10 movies that are all critically acclaimed. I still got to get through. So a lot can change. My opinion might change here before the end of the year. Time will tell. We will see. I guess that's all I got until whenever, probably another week or so. I should have the next one up. Then I'll talk to you then.